Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Realtors Roundtable for another thankful Thursday. So glad that you all are joining us today. I'm going to give folks not only time to come in, but I'm also going to give, um, of course, my co host time to come in. Let me just drop something for you all in the comments. And then we will get started. Hey, Morgan B. Holland, Madam Gold Slayer. So grateful that you are here. Listen, shout us out. Say hello to us in the comments, y'all. We've been doing this for enough weeks now that you don't have to be scared to say hello to us. We're always so happy that you guys are joining us. And my co-host will be here shortly, but we like to show up for the people. So we do not let any grass grow under our feet or moss for that matter. I don't know what the actual saying is. Is it moss or is it grass? Either way, we show up. So we are glad that you guys are here with us for another edition of Realtors Roundtable. And I just want to make sure, can you guys let me know if you can hear me okay? And if you can see me okay? Hey, I know something that I definitely want to share. I don't know how many of you participated in Prime Day, but I have some new lights coming. So I'm excited about that because I need to up my lighting game with all the recordings that we do on a regular basis. So I am definitely excited about that. Did anybody get anything good during Prime Day? Let me know in the chat. I'd love to know what everyone else was investing in. I know that I shared I needed a new printer. So I may or I may not have purchased a new printer. Regardless of what I did, that's my business. But trust me, anything that I invest in, it is definitely in the course of doing good business. So thank you, Madam Goldslayer, for letting me know that you can hear me and that you can see me. I hope that folks are getting the notifications when we go live. So if you are not getting notifications from us, please let us know and we will work on that on our end from the back end. So we're just going to launch right into it. And I am glad that folks are joining. Thank you if you just joined us here on Realtors Roundtable. I am Carmelita Turner, the realest realtor you know. And of course, we show up here each and every Thursday at 4:30 for Realtors Roundtable. I am also the host of the Realist Realtor podcast, which you can find on Anchor and Spotify every Wednesday at 3 p.m. We're in season 2 of the podcast, and I'm so proud of that and so grateful to everybody that supports us there on Anchor and Spotify. And of course, now here on this channel called Carmelita, you can find us on Tuesdays as well for our Talk About It Tuesdays. That's more of our light-hearted banter with purpose, I will say. So even when we show up on Tuesdays, although it may not be as involved of an episode as we normally have, it is definitely one that you don't want to miss. So we just thank everybody for supporting us on a continual basis. And we definitely thank you for making sure that you subscribe, encouraging other people to subscribe as well. And definitely, like our episodes, comment on our episodes. That is what helps people find us. And we're grateful to you for doing that. All right. So my brother from another mother, Craig Gilbo Jr., what it is. I see you there, champ. How you doing? Now, okay, let me say this for the record because I'm about to start laughing. So let me get my face. What's up, brother? Let me say, here's what will not happen this week, Craig. Number one, I will hear every word that you say in real time. Man, last week was a catastrophe. Number two, my computer will not die. I got a new cord, dude. I had to get a new charger. It was like, man, straight comedy. And stand-up comedy is my thing, right? I feel like I missed my calling in comedy. That was so funny last week. I couldn't even control myself. So can you hear me okay, Craig? And did you okay, well, I can't hear you. So let me see. Are you unmuted? You Apple people, y'all need to get Apple together. Look, I'll mess with Apple. And that's exactly why I don't. But guess what, Craig? We see you just fine. Just fine. Let me tell you something. When you're as cute as you and I, come on. Hey, it is what it is. So, okay, so you're trying to, I got you. How about now?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Check, check.
Now I'm wondering, do you hear feedback?
I just turned off my other computer.
Okay, because let me tell you, when you're in business and you big time boss like yourself, you got all the technology necessary.
Right. There
So
you go.
how has your week been? Tell me some wins that you had. I was just talking with the folks about Prime Day, trying to figure out. Listen, I got some new lights coming for when we film. So, okay, Madam Ghostway, I know that's right. She ordered a Ring doorbell, the third generation. I ain't mad at it because let me tell you, anytime I can get something for a discounted price, I want to have it.
Well, everything is going good. I'm trying to think Well, I'm not going to say technically is a win, but it's a discovery, and it's about real estate. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine, and we love discoveries about real estate, brother.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
So this is more about why we as a community need to what was the word I'm looking, be educated on real estate. So I'm helping this sister out with a short sale. Matter of fact, you know what? For legal reasons, this is what I'm gonna say. We have to really understand the game of real estate because there's a lot of predators out there, and what I've discovered today is that they are blatant, right? When it comes to our community, just because they know, because of the system, they can get away with it.
I would offer the word brazen.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only are they blatant, they are boldly so.
And so the reason why I had to kind of critique the story, I'm not going too much into it because I literally found it out an hour, like 2 hours ago. And when me and my buddy are going through, because we do short sales, and as we're going through the paperwork and the correspondence, we're like, hold on, you can't do this. So long story short, my homeboy says, Craig, this party is trying to represent their client, right? And
Okay.
trying to advise them to ignore the appraisal that came back, right? And I'm like, I'm super objective, right? And at times I could be a victim blamer, right? So what that means is, if you come and tell me, man, I just got in a fight with my brother, my first thing is what you do, right? Okay. But so he says, also I'm like, okay, so what happened? He says, well, the appraisal came back and the agent told the buyer to ignore it, and he can find additional money for her. And I'm like, so did the guy have like comparables to make, to see why they trying to? And he said no. And because my guy is, he's keen when it's tomfoolery. He says, I'm pretty sure that agent owns that property.
What? No disclosure?
listen. See, hold on, because Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. Long story short, the seller was a LLC. And I'm like, okay, I know how to look up the owners of LLCs. And by God, the seller was the agent that's representing the buyer that told the buyer to ignore the appraisal.
And you already know me, your sister. I'm a stickler for the law, right? And I know that there are many viewers today, one in particular, and she knows
Allegedly.
who she is.
Let me say that.
Allegedly. I got
Allegedly.
you.
Okay.
Allegedly. I got you. But you know I'm a stickler for the law. And as my girl in the chat knows, the laws will not fail you, right?
Well, here we go. Here we go.
So disclosure should have happened,
well,
period.
here we
And
go. Here
we
we go.
know.
Here we go. Here
Yeah.
we go. Here we go. Here we go. So I'm going to ask you this. Allegedly, hypothetically,
Air quote.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine, right? Okay, so here's the scenario. The agent wants to sell a house. Now, he disclosed, though. It's on the paper. It says seller. Well, I don't know if he disclosed, but it's on the paper that a buyer signed that he is the seller.
He has a financial interest in the property.
Right.
That is
now,
what
I don't
the law
know.
says.
Right. Now, he had got another agent to represent him, and he represented the buyer. Now, my question to you is, right, because when it comes to the Maryland side, I want your expertise. You can't do dual agency in Maryland, correct?
You can in Maryland. You cannot in Virginia.
Now, I was told.
But hold up. But the real question is our overarching ethical question. Is it good to do dual agency? And in some circumstances, no, because it becomes very messy. And it gets confusing even to buyers, sometimes to sellers. That's why I personally choose to not do it. I would rather refer out one side and only do the other just for this reason.
Well, here we go. Here we go. So if you were selling, not you, if an agent was selling the property, okay, and he got another agent to represent him, okay, and then he represented the buyer.
Messy.
Messy. Okay. Right. Okay. Messy. Okay. Now here we go. Now that has happened. Okay. Now that happened. The appraisal came in that he allegedly told the buyer to get. The appraisal said the property is $40,000 allegedly, and the agent told the buyer, "Don't worry about that appraisal. I told you it was going to come. It wasn't going to appraise for what we wanted to appraise for. I'll lend you the money to buy the property." And I'm not laughing. Okay, I'm not laughing on this alleged hypothetical, right? But this is what we're discovering. And I'm like, so he's not only the seller, he's representing the buyer. He told the buyer not to ignore the appraisal, and he's the lender to give her a second. Now, here's the kicker. That allegedly was supposed to be for the rehab of the property. But guess what? The buyer never got the money. And what it come out to be that second that was used for the repair was used for the acquisition of the property. And the buyer allegedly is still waiting and was wondering why she never got a draw to fix up the house. And I'm like, oh my God. But this is what I'm saying. And this happened 2010.
So, okay. So put a pin in it, as you say. Put a pin in it. Because we about to get in. Buddy, we about to go in. Because that is why we've been showing up on this Realtors Roundtable since my birthday week. Since my birthday month in September, right? To let people understand. These are the type of, listen, I'm the realest realtor. I bring you real life, This is real life that we're talking about, real facts that impact real people, right? Your buyer has been impacted. That's what I do. Let me tell you, brother, you just found this out an hour ago. We could not script a show like this because this is the life that we live, right? This is why we are so adamant about getting folks to this platform to get this education, to get this game, to learn what we know, to let us help them, because everything you just described, we don't need to talk about it. You already know it's messy Marvin.
Ooh.
It's nothing but tomfoolery. But let me tell you something. Is it illegal? Well, I would say no. And you know why? Because somebody else knows the game better than the buyer. The buyer didn't reach out to a Craig Gilbo Jr. in time. They didn't call Carmelita. They didn't reach out to our co-host that we missed today, Cleon Smith, right? They didn't connect with realtors that had their best interests at heart and who have educated themselves. We educate ourselves over and over and over every day because we see the games out here. And you know what else? People that are playing games like that are winning. So we show up here to Realtors Roundtable to give you this knowledge, peep you to this game. But guess what? We're going to help you win the right way. That's what we do over here. You already know, brother, that's a whole big mess. And that's not how we do business over here. We don't do business over here like that. Y'all know it's a whole big mess. Those of you listening in the listening audience, you know it's a mess.
Put a tie, a period on it, right?
Put a bow on it, buddy.
Put a bow on it. It's just like, that's probably not the first time that happened.
And it won't be the last, brother.
And it won't be the last. And it's like this, allegedly. And it's just like, this is why something has to give with when we start learning about real estate credit, balancing a checkbook, because this is out of control. It's like,
so Craig, you know what I got? You know what I got, buddy? You have segued into I'm first of all, shout out to our colleague, our other co-host, Cleon Smith. He couldn't be here with us today. Listen, we needed his gangster butt here today because we about to go in today for real. Because we initially had plans on talking. We're still going to talk about black banks. But let me tell you something. I'm about to bring the heat because I literally, Craig, just got out of a class with Dr. Claude Anderson.
Oh,
so
man.
You know, we about to burn it up in here today because you said it has to get to a point, right, where we are demanding better. And we know after examining the Black tax, and we didn't even go through that whole book as we could have, but after the Black tax, now I know you have your Powernomics book. I'm gonna have to make sure Cleon has his, because if he doesn't, I'm about to buy him one, because we about to go in on Powernomics. Because, and if you all don't have the book by Dr. Claude Anderson, Powernomics, you can go to powernomics.com, and we will drop that link in the description on this video. Purchase a book to support our matriarchs who have been fighting this battle all of their lives, and and matriarchs, because Dr. Anderson is older. But let me tell you one thing about Dr. Anderson. His message has not changed for decades. And when I tell you it's a timeless message, not only is it timeless, it is timely for exactly the scenario you just described. And we didn't even know you were going to bring this scenario. We didn't even know.
Sidebar really quick. Speaking about matriarchs, this book just came in. I gave it to my sister. It's called Post-Traumatic
Your favorite person.
Joy DeGruy. And I got the I got it for her, but the study guide as well.
There's a study guide.
I think it was like $50 or $60.
I gotta have it. Listen, y'all gonna make me broke between you and Dr. Greg Carr and Karen Hunter. I'm gonna need a support group for all these books.
The point I was bringing it up, right, to that point, is that deals with the mind and understanding the game and where you're at.
Yes, Lord.
And that's what I've been preaching. We've been preaching about just understanding the game and where you're at.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. So, okay, I was pulling up the article, right? So last week after our show, we wanted to circle back around and talk about, just kind of delve in a little more um to our conversation about black banks. So let me just so the way we started was I sent you guys an article, and you know how I always go down the rabbit hole.
Mhm.
But you were like, I know, y'all know how my brain works.
Yeah, me too.
So
I'm right with you.
yeah, because one thing, well, as they say, way leads to way, leads to way, leads to way. So we know that we are very studied and learned individuals. So the article from last week that we were looking at was actually found in the New York Times, and I'll drop the article in the description as well. The short tenure and abrupt ouster of banking's soul, that's not SOUL, that's SOLE, meaning the only one, sole black CEO, right? In all of banking. Now, mind you, this was a story about a gentleman who had actually been the chairman of the board for a bank that was in, let's see, Switzerland. So Swiss bank. And he was the only black, his last name is and I always say it wrong. I think it's something like to Jane Timon, THIAM. He was the only black to hold such position in banking. And you may remember when Cleon, one of the solutions that we were offering on top of education, on top of your solution as far as learning, as much as you can about this whole building wealth through real estate. And then Cleon also was talking about trying to establish these relationships with black banks, black bankers, things of that nature to prevent a lot of the issues that we see. Like with this, we do know that appraisals come back inappropriately, right? And yes, we did say here on this platform that you can challenge appraisals, but based on fact, not fiction, not based on some janky okey doke transaction that somebody's trying to put together at your expense, because
Mhm.
they can't put that transaction together without your name on the dotted line, right?
Woo!
You see what I'm saying? So this is what we educate. This is what we protect our people. And I will keep saying it. I am here to educate and support Black families, as many who want to build wealth through real estate, that I can help. It doesn't mean that I will refuse to work with anyone. I'll work with anyone, but I don't apologize for seeking to work with Black families first. I don't apologize for that at all. You know why? Because for this entire week, I've been part of classes and trainings that were very diverse, but the person leading the class, they had no problem saying that they service their Asian community. They service their Hispanic community. They were very nice to me in the class. They were very welcoming, but they did not once stumble over their words when they said who they service. Come on, brother. You already know what I'm saying. So
Mhm.
when we show up here, but let me tell you the difference. The difference is that when they say things like that, their community rises up and rallies behind them and does business with them. When we say things like this, I'm sorry, because I'm just in a mood today. But
Mhm.
when we say things like this, I got to chase you to bless you.
Mm.
And I told you, Carmelita,
Ain't
we're
doing
not
that.
doing that anymore. That's
Doing
not what we're doing over
it.
here. So when they were talking about this 58-year-old only banking Black CEO, and let me tell you what they just did some okey doke white privilege BS. They just started with inappropriate racial situations he was placed in. They started second guessing his authority. Started, trying to make him look like, now, mind you, a man
Mm.
who had a stellar, unblemished career. So when we think about the fact that there was one Black CEO in banking, and the fact that we don't have as many Black banks, as I did reach out to Industrial Bank. So if you're in the DMV area, I did reach out to Industrial Bank. They're one of the Black banks here in our area. Because I do want to have them on the platform, because I do want to hear, let me tell you, and like I said, after sitting with Dr. Anderson today, I do want to hear what these Black banks are offering. What are you doing for the Black community as far as loans that matter, mortgage, business loans, and low interest rates? I need to know, because for too long, just traditional banking environments, as we talked about when we were talking about the Black tax, have robbed, raped, and pillaged the Black community, especially knowing that we've already been, swindled out of trillions of dollars that was rightfully due us anyway, right? So we kind of started with that article. And then the news broke about what's his name, Killer Mike, right? So Killer Mike is in conjunction with Andrew Young, who used to be the mayor of Atlanta, right? Andrew Young, he's a civil rights activist. He was the former mayor of Atlanta. And the guy from Bounce TV, do you know Bounce TV, Craig?
Uh-huh.
Ryan Glover. Okay, yeah. So the guy who is the founder and president of Bounce TV, they have joined forces, and they have created this Black owned bank. And they named it after the historic Tulsa, Oklahoma area. So, for those of you listening who may not know, but we always bring knowledge here. So, Black Wall Street, or that particular area in Tulsa, is known as it's Greenwood, right? And they currently, and I don't have my 1921 hat on today, but Greenwood, or the massacre, because that's what it was. It was a massacre in Greenwood. It will have been 100 years, June 1st of 2021. So they literally obliterated, in the course of 24 hours, 1,250 homes, multiple businesses. They had the largest hotel in the country in Greenwood on
Hmm.
Black Wall Street. JB Stratford was the name of the hotel. It was the largest in the country, and it was Black owned. JB Stratford. Feel free to Google it. They actually have a lawsuit pending right now, and you can go to that website. I want to say it's justiceforgreenwood.org, and you can go over and see all the things that they're doing with that. There's one living survivor from that massacre, Mother Randall. She's
Oh,
106 years
really?
old. She's 106 years old, Mother Randall, one living survivor. So, when we think about even situations where we were thriving, and, we had banks, they had medical offices. I don't know if you watch Lovecraft Country, but their episode 8 was devoted to the massacre. Listen, like I said to a group the other day, Black Wall Street is a crime scene. Don't get this ish twisted.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crime scene, because they literally just deputized any white person with a gun. They came in there and they shot, they drowned, they bludgeoned women, children, men, anyone that they saw for 24 hours. They allowed planes to fly over Greenwood and drop firebombs. They destroyed everything. And the fact that for what? You know what I'm saying? Like, just the same thing with this Black CEO. Just because, number one, they feel like they always need to put Blacks in their place. And then number two, even just, the jealousy and their inability to understand our resilience. But I say all this to say I'm not preaching doom and gloom. I am preaching the fact that you need to educate yourself about why real estate remains and will always be the number one wealth builder for you and your family. And the fact that there has been so much land, so much real estate wealth stolen from you, literally, that we have every right. You know, that's my number one pillar for my platform. You have every mother freaking right to reclaim what is yours. And so when I saw that Killer Mike, Andrew Young, and Mr. Glover, you know, had started this Greenwood Bank, I was reading a little more to really see what they were doing, right? So first of all, it's only an e-bank, right? It's just an online bank. I think there's a name for that. They said there's a certain type of name for it,
Yeah,
but
it was go ahead. I'll find neo
okay,
banking.
okay.
Neo banking.
Neo, okay, that's what it is. You're exactly right, brother. And so, okay, that's fine because hey, you have to start somewhere, right?
Mhm.
But it's almost like, okay, but I really wanted to know how they were going to help marginalized groups, you know, and
Well,
really
they
help this.
according and not to cut you off.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
According to what they're saying, they are the way they are crowd or establishing a foundation is they have to get these depositors to a certain level to then go into lending.
Yeah, okay. I know what they said. And guess what? That's a problem.
Mm,
And I'm gonna tell you why, brother. I'm gonna tell
mm,
you why it's a problem. It's a
mm,
problem. I'm gonna tell you
mm,
why.
mm.
Because just like bam,
Yeah.
you know, I'm about to bring the card. So, okay. So when we were in class today with Dr. Anderson, our Powernomics Masterclass, and I'll drop the information if you want to join that class as well. I'll drop that information so you can do that. One of the things, you know, Dr. Anderson, he's always saying that we need to be out here raising holy hell, right? So let me tell you what's interesting. Did you know Dr. Anderson has 6 degrees?
Didn't know that.
I believe it. I don't doubt it at all.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but yet and still, a man with 6 degrees, all of these books, he's laid out a very clear economic. He has some of the best training and knowledge. He has worked at the highest levels of the government, ran campaigns, worked at the White House. He's done everything, right? So when a man like that says that he has never had the funds to take his word to the masses, everybody was like, what? And let me tell you what one of the other members in the class said. And I quote, I've often heard too many of our intellectual leaders saying that they don't have the funds to make a large impact. We need to change that. Let me tell you something. Killer Mike, Andrew Young, and Mr. Glover, I'm glad that you all have this neobank. I think it's wonderful. But you know what else we need? We need the ability for Blacks to be able to, like I said, get mortgage loans, business loans, to be able to get these at lower interest rates, no more than like 2%, right? So that they can begin revitalizing many of the areas. I'm sorry, yo, brother, and you know, we don't have a problem agreeing and disagreeing. I'm sorry. I find it hard to believe that between all of these celebrities, all these people owning basketball teams, all that, you mean to tell me Killer Mike don't have enough folks that they could put together enough of a fund to have the bank able to start? I mean, because come on, we already know in this game, you talk about learning the game, we know the true wealth is in the loan. Come on, you already know what I'm talking about. You already know
So
what I'm.
I'll say this, right? Um, I heard this. I'm misquoting it, but I'll say it in my words. Um, just because you're old don't mean you got wisdom, and just because you're rich don't mean you're smart, right?
Hello.
And and what I will say, not to combat what you said, but to put a little perspective on it. I at least when it comes to entertainers, I don't really put stock in the discernment and understanding for them to do what they have to do for the community. The biggest reason is of how they're getting their money, right? And the people that I've seen that pour into the community, Dame Dash, a brother by the name of was that Sam Cooke? Is an older dude.
The artist Sam cooked me.
Yeah, I think they
Okay.
had a documentary.
Okay.
guys that really want to be about the community, they sabotage them,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it's not me defending them. I'm not defending. I'm giving perspective. When it comes to saying, "Hey, I want to be about my people," when you get to those kind of levels, there's people in the side like, our constituents don't feel that way. Now, again, if you did your money correctly, if you follow Powernomics, then you, like Boyce Watkins says, Dr. Boyce Watkins, you can have some FU money. But a
Yes.
lot of these people don't have FU money.
Right.
So again,
Right. That's it.
I'm putting some onus on them. I'm putting a lot of onus on them.
Yep.
But at the same time, that's more on, not on us. We have to really say, yeah, if they bring their monies with all their millions, that's icing. But we have to know that we, me, you, the teachers, we need to really do this. And I'll end this with a quote, right? From one of the quote unquote founding fathers or these older people. His name is John Adams. Okay.
You mean these
John
old
Adams,
white men? Go ahead.
old white man. Now, during this time, he wasn't talking to us. But this is what he said to Americans, right? He says, all the perplexities, confusion, and distress in America arise from the downright ignorance of the nature of the coin, credit, and circulation. I'm gonna say that one more time.
Okay.
This is John Adams, right? And during this time, he technically wasn't talking to us because we wasn't considered Americans, right? In a sense. All the perplexities, confusions, and distress in America arise from the downright ignorance of the nature of the coin, credit, and circulation.
Okay.
Now, if I mean that right there, if from there, if you don't pick up a book to understand money, real estate, and stuff, again, we can't chase you to bless you.
We can't chase you to bless you. Matter of fact, we need to get those t-shirts for this. And let me tell you, so yeah, I feel you. And look, I'm gonna hit you with another old white man. Not literally, but just to his words, right? So it's interesting because today we were talking about they were talking about President Jackson, Andrew Jackson. Mm-hmm. And the fact that, and not only John Adams, all these little founding fathers, whatever. Like you said, of course, he wasn't talking to us because when the Constitution was written, they had deemed us property. So we weren't we the people that they were talking about, right? And on top of that, during the time they were giving all them white folks the 650 acres of land and everything else, guess what? It was so interesting. Dr. Anderson was talking about this today. The land had no value until there was at least one slave on it.
Watch out to it.
You heard what I said, brother. Until there was one slave on that land had no. What? Craig, you don't want me to stop. You look. You don't want me to go there. It has zero value on it until you place one slave on it.
Which the slave. Go ahead. Uh-huh.
No, so you mean to tell me? We can't figure this out? We don't know. We've had value from the jump. And we cannot pick up a book, like you said, whether it's the Black Tax, whether it's Powernomics, whether it's post-traumatic slave syndrome, whatever book, whether it's the Osiris Papers, Dr. Francis Cress Wesleyan, y'all better pick up some books around here. Because we show up here for a reason. And yet and still, we got to chase some folks down. But let me tell you, I'm just pulling a Harriet Tubman with the rest of my life because I'm only taking those that want to go, baby. Because the rest of y'all, I'm gonna have to get my pistol out. If you're not trying to come, I'm gonna make sure that you can stay. So, I mean, come on now. So when we drop this knowledge, when we give these examples of all the ways, right? All the ways that we've been robbed of value. I'm gonna tell you something else too. Look, I'm gonna tell you something else that was interesting. That Dr. Anderson pointed out today, and I don't have my Powernomics book close enough to grab it, but I will drop that link here in the chat. When he was talking about the he mentioned the 1866 Indian Treaty,
Mm.
and he was talking about how you know, every year, which I do remember this, and it was so weird, you know, like when the Obama administration and everybody would every year have the different Indian tribes come because, you know, they give them like $1 billion or $2 or $3 billion every year, right? But what people fail to talk about is the fact that part of that 1866 Indian Treaty included Black Indians and Black freedmen who have never to this motherfucking day been given their reparations to the tune of trillions of dollars. That, come on, brother. So when you show up and you talk about janky deals, people got to understand we though you those of us who really carry this knowledge. And let me say this, it's a heavy burden that we carry because we carry this historical knowledge. We walk with the ancestors for a reason. We know what was lost and we know the fight for what needs to be gained. And you mean to tell me that y'all can't even show up for a live YouTube and ask some questions? I'm just saying, Craig, let me stop because you know I'm probably
Yeah.
about to go there and rip up 8 more note cards.
It's funny. We're talking about this, and I'm gonna chastise us a little bit. I say us. I'm gonna chastise us, not us per se on the roundtable, but just us as a community. There's a brother y'all should follow named Curtis Schoon, right? And Curtis Schoon, he's in the DC area. He's a filmmaker. He made a
Spell his last name for me, brother.
Scoon,
Okay, got it.
and he made a film, Black, White, and Blue documentary.
Okay.
And he was being interviewed, and he's talking about helping the people, and he said he owns a company that helps the mentally ill.
Okay.
And he was telling the guy that he said a very peculiar thing happened. He said, now I try my best to hire all Black people. And he said one of the leadership was going to leave, or he had to get fired or something like that. I think he wanted to leave. And they had a gay white man that was interviewing. And, you know, he asked his partner, you know, what do you think? He said, we hire anybody, no discrimination and everything, but we try our best to keep Black for those that are qualified. But his partner said, well, I mean, let's hire him, see what happens. Now, here's the thing. He said something peculiar happened. He said prior to, the staff would act a certain way with the Black manager and the owner. But when he hired the white man, the staff started to come on time. They started doing things. Their business started to increase. He said that the what do you call it? The employees treated the white manager better than the owner. And he said, we have to get better on saying that their ice ain't colder than ours.
Craig.
I had the tablets. I got because you know I'm all about solutions, and I'm all about keeping.
I feel you. I feel you. And you know what it is? Pick up your girl's book. That's what it is.
Talk to her.
That's what it is.
Talk to her. Post-traumatic.
You already know the answer. Let me tell you, you better bring something harder for your sister, brother, because you know I know what the answer is.
Listen, and I'm talking to the people that need to hear it. I mean, it's all good when we all, that person. Right. But now it's like, it's time to put some work in now.
That's right.
Let's open that book now.
Yeah. You're gonna learn today. I tell you that much. You're gonna learn today. And that's what so we see. So gosh, I know, right? So now I'm gonna bring it full circle because I know here we go. We're at 5:15, like every week this time flies by. But okay, so now I know people just feel so inundated by messages, right? We gotta
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the heck we having tonight. Virtual town halls, virtual debates. I don't know what the hell they doing.
Mm-hmm.
But we have all of these things going on. Everybody in your ear talking about if you don't vote, you got to get out and vote. And I'm not advocating one thing or the other because on this platform we keep it neutral. I will say that there's a cost for my involvement.
Mm-hmm. Watch out.
Okay. So that means I demand something in return for what you're asking me to do.
That's
Okay. And I'm going
not
to say
that's
that with a
not
smile.
that's not that see what and what people don't understand and they'll understand it once they start reading the book. And I'm not getting I know I bought this, but I'm not hired by
I
Dr.
know.
Troy.
Although,
But
look, we're going to tag her though, Craig, because
right,
I
we gonna
love
tag her,
Dr.
right? But what people have to understand is that, you know, we have to put the work in.
Yep.
It's like that simple. Like you at some point it's faith without works. Is come on now.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I grew up in church. We know that's dead, but look, stop throwing them cliche statements out and like do something. And I mean, that's just real talk. Um, because again, and I'm not saying, and we talked about this on one of the forums before, right? This isn't innate knowledge. We're not born knowing this. When your history was obliterated before they stole you and brought you here, when your history was burned up and destroyed when they got you here, obviously they don't want you to know your history. Duh, because there's power in that knowledge, right? So we acknowledge that, right? We acknowledge, even for myself, there's so many things that I'm learning every day, that I read every day, that I keep saying my superpower is that I relate everything back to real estate. I know I know the power in owning dirt and owning as many doors as you possibly can. And that's why me and my colleagues show up here every week to kind of help you give you some things to think about. And really, we're not here to educate. We listen, I teach classes to teach you how to get into doors. Craig and I work with clients, Cleon as well, to help you all get into doors. That's not what this form is about. This form is to really pull your coattails and to get you thinking about what it is that you can do to not only help educate yourself, but also connect with us. I don't care where you are in the country or on this globe, connect with us, because guess what we can do? We can connect you with someone that can help you if we're not close enough geographically to do it, because that's the beauty of modern technology. And let me read something else to you, Craig. There was somebody else that was participating in the class, and they were a Black suburbanite. And they basically said that just through their awakening that they're going through, they actually live in a mixed neighborhood. And we know how this goes. And she was saying how she lives around people that really don't want her to be their neighbor. So there's that. And she says she's just feeling awful, not only for her own existence as this Black suburbanite, but also for all the people she feels like, she just hasn't connected with or has left behind. And I really don't, it's not that, and I know I can be critical. So I'm gonna go ahead and confess, Craig, because I know you get on me all the time. So I am very critical of these bougie Blacks. And I do say that frequently, right? I'm tired of people, they always want me to tone it down. I don't tone it down for nobody. The more you tell me to tone it down, the more I'm gonna turn it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, especially when it comes to educating my people and advocating for my people, so I will never do that. But also, and I'm gonna call people out. So sorry, Craig.
Oh, watch out.
But look, like when I think about the Congressional Black Caucus, when
Mm-hmm.
I think about I won't say a specific group, but these Black associations for realtors, things of that nature. And I've said this to you before, and I've said this even to their own leadership. Like, what are we out here doing? Because if we have another mixer, another gala, how is that helping Black people own more homes? How is that helping anybody? What are we out here doing? Y'all should be, as Dr. Anderson says, raising holy hell out here. because many of these folks are in the positions to do that. And Dr. Anderson said today, y'all need to stop taking free ass whippings because they're just basically out here talking the talk, but not really doing what matters to really impact the community. They are not demanding, Dr. Anderson gave us 7 demands today. And one of them was, to appoint an actual position that would reside in the White House, which I know Kamala and Joe Biden talk about, here we go again. They talk about creating this position of diversity, some BS in the White House, but Dr. Anderson called it the Native Black Affairs Office. Native Black. So who would that be? Well, let's see. Those of us like myself, I haven't connected with Sankofa yet. That's the company that I definitely want to use to trace my lineage, but I haven't done it yet. So I don't know if I'm from Africa or not, but I do know that America is the only country where I've lived. So would I be a Native Black American? Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. So creating a commission to really support and remedy Native Black Americans, right? These are tangibles that you can look for. These are real demands that we can make. That $1 trillion I was talking about from the 1866 Native American Treaty. Stop saying, oh, well, we can't do reparations. We don't know how to distribute them. We don't know who they would go to. Poppycock. Yes, you
Yeah,
do.
just
It ain't
yeah,
difficult.
yeah. We have to know when to keep our mouth shut. We just not like if you don't understand it, I understand. Just be like, you know what? I'm with the movement. Just don't put your opinion because when you're not educated in
Yep.
it, because
Yep.
when you do the research on who has gotten reparations,
Come on
who's
now.
getting reparations, that the reparations didn't, the event or the trauma didn't happen on this soil.
Correct.
Come on, man.
It's plenty of them.
Follow, go to
Follow the
Claude
money.
Anderson.
And they get them, and they get them on the regular basis. And they've been getting them. And y'all still sitting around here
And
trying
they
to sing
get
kumbaya.
checks. They get cut checks.
They getting checked.
Like, here you go. Take this 7,500, 200.
And what do they do with those checks? They purchase land, they purchase homes, they purchase businesses. So you're not going to tell me that we don't get on this platform and bring you this information for a reason. So yeah, they cutting a check for somebody. They just ain't cutting it for your tail. Mm-hmm. So again, like my brother said, educate yourself. Don't get out here just spewing some nonsense and tomfoolery. Okay. That's not what we advocating. But we are advocating that definitely make sure you connect with us, Carmelita Turner, the realest realtor and my brother Craig Gilbo. Look, we spitting bars in here. We need a theme song. So if anybody out there wants to help us get our theme song together, hit me up because we definitely need a theme song on here. Listen, I'm so glad that you all have shown up, to be here with us today. Like I said, we don't advocate one thing over the other. We just bring the information. So glad to see my loyal watchers here in the chat. Love you guys so much for showing up each and every week. Listen, give us the thumbs up before you leave. Hey, share this, with folks that just drop it in their DMs, send it to their emails. The more views we get, the better. But guess what? We don't worry about that. We attract people to us organically because whoever needs this message will find us. So we love you all for showing up and being here with us each and every week. And yeah, so for next week, like I said, if you don't have that Powernomics book, definitely make a move to get it because we're going to be using it as a springboard. I know, when I get an idea in my mind, we run with it. So wow. I know Cleo's gonna be like, what did y'all do when I was gone? What happened? He low-key gangster anyway, so he's with it, whichever direction we go. So listen, folks, keep winning, keep your eyes open, keep your head on swivel, keep educating yourself, stay safe. Listen, don't get it twisted. Things are not as they will be because, like I said, we don't bring doom and gloom over here. All will be fine. And we know that because we've lived through many, many eras where we had to come out on the other side. And this one will be no exception, but still remain safe. Reach out to your family, tell folks that you love them often. And we are so glad that you showed up with us. And we leave you in the same manner in which we found you, and that is always in peace. Take care, folks.